During COVID, we always rub our hands with sanitizer to enter and touch anything in the world. And that is the way the Eastern wisdom is. So, in our head, we put the Eastern wisdom, the knowledge, before we perform any action in the world. That is what we are moving ahead in in the journey, and you already know that we are making a journey based on the teachings of Gita, the text. Understand that this journey of this self-discovery, what it looks like an extracting cream from the milk. Milk is already there in the refrigerator, but cream is not visible. But it does not mean that cream is not there. And that is why we have to follow the path of Shreyas, not Preyas, to extract this. Curd is there in the milk, but I don't see. Cream is there in the milk. That is what the real self is already there inside. We don't see, it does not mean it does not exist. So we need to understand it clearly. So what we have done, even what we have done, we wanted to understand who am I, what is this world, what is the existence, and ultimately how to think, speak, live, and work in this world based on Eastern wisdom. Why? Because then we live continuously in the state of permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Very good. Another friend of us is joining the session. Very good.
He had a question.
At least, yeah, at least he or she is responding. What is happens, what is the basic, there is another problem. There is a big gap between the knowledge and the action. Knowledge and behavior. We claim we have understood everything. We claim that we have understood that peace is our nature, happiness is our nature, love is our nature. We need not to find it outside. But when it comes to behavior, we miss it. We miss it. So the knowledge is gained by the intellect, and the mind starts acting by default with the behavior. Unless we bridge the gap between the knowledge and behavior, the life is not going to change. I know you understand this. So, to bridge this gap, we need to take very small action. Why? If the knowledge and the behavior they do not go together, there is no change, there is no transformation in our life. So the mind acts by default. It gets angry, it gets agitated, it reacts. After that, we remember and we repent. We say, what should we do? So we have to bridge this gap. We have to remove this misunderstanding. That is where we are moving. So the second chapter is more about clarity. It gives us greater clarity about our life, about our nature of confusion, delusion, and illusion, so that this knowledge can be realized in action. Now, think of it. We are seekers of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. We don't have any choice. We all are seekers of peace and happiness. But at the level of behavior, I expect something from you because I feel that gives me happiness. You don't meet my expectation. Hence, I react and hesitate. So I'm still seeking peace and happiness by hesitation and reaction. Are you getting it? I don't have a choice. What choice? Peace and happiness. I'm the seeker of peace and happiness. But I want peace and happiness in a wrong way, in a wrong manner. My behavior has taken over the knowledge. So I always say, unless we clearly understand the Eastern wisdom that reveals the knowledge of the reality about my real self, we cannot get into the permanent peace and happiness. So our masters in the tradition, they say that we have to become a seeker. And the seeker follows the path of first the Shreyas and then dispassion. We will also understand this dispassion. So discernment and dispassion helps us to realize that knowledge in action to bridge the gap between the knowledge and the behavior. So now see that where comes the problem from the behavior. Take one example. I am happy when everything is taking place according to what I like and what is pleasant to me. But now I don't see nothing is taking place according to what I like, what is pleasant to me. So I am agitated. I am deviated from seeking peace and happiness within me. Just in the morning today, he is in New York, works in the IT. He shares the room with two of his three roommates. They always drink late in the evening. And he was asking me, what should I do to change them? Now, see, I deviated from the goal. Can I change the world? I asked him, can you change the world? Answer is no. So when I cannot change this world, change myself through my understanding, accept and recognize the world as it is, and bring about a change in yourself. So with the knowledge, you are hitting on the behavior, on the mind. So you have a knowledge, you have a clarity inside that is acting on the behavior. It prevents you from reacting, hesitating if the other person is not living properly. Let them not live. The first thing is this: whatever happens in your family, near and the dear ones, or the society, we don't want to be a politician. We are not a social worker. Our goal is to find the reals. So why we react? Because we are attached. You see that you are so close to me and you are not behaving properly. Then the others say, hell with you. I was reading. No, I was listening the latest interview. Bill Gates was saying to the CNN, I committed mistake. So there was a big gap between the knowledge and the behavior. Now I'm repenting. Nothing is going to happen. So this master is pointing as you need not to repent. Prepare yourself what you are going to think about the world outside, what you are going to speak, what you are going to act. So that you need not to repent. You need not to blame yourself. You need not to feel sorry. Knowledge and the behavior. Quite interesting. His master says that this delusion, depression does not come from heaven. It comes from my behavior, my mind, my habitual mind, my instinctive mind. So if we do not understand this part, this will cause a lot of problems. And as long as this problem continues, we cannot change ourselves. We cannot bring the transformation in our life. This Gita teaches, or the master in the Gita teaches us, where we see the problem. I see the problem in the world outside. Very good. Can I change the world? No. Now comes the cream of this teaching. Can I change the world? No. Still, we start changing the society. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing has happened. So, why we say that? We want to live in peace and happiness. It is within me. By changing the world, it will not change me. Second uh, thing where we feel the problem. I have problem with my relations, family, friends. I start changing them, and they make fun of you. Have you not seen? You have told with your right knowledge, please, my honey, change. And then say, oh, are you blaming me? Come on. They make fun of us. What is the third level? from where the problem enters the life. We are the problem. We have the problem. What are the symptoms? I feel agitated when you approach me. Why? Because you don't listen to me. Because you are not doing the right thing, which I feel is right. So it means I am the problem. I am the problem. And that problem pertains to my behavior at the subconscious, at the habitual level, at the impulsive level. And we want to bridge the gap between the knowledge and the behavior. Think of it. Once you think of it, I have a problem in relationship to someone else, whether it is a person in my life who lives with me, or the society, or the nation, or the world. We were just talking about it. So Gita says two things can change your perception in life. One is the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, and second is the teacher who is educating, personalizes the teachings of the Eastern wisdom. Can you get rid of the anxiety, stress, and delusion forever from psychotherapy, from psychology? They dig your mind deep down. Every time you go for counseling, they talk. Oh, when did you have anxiety last week? When? Where? What is the thought? What happened? And every time they repeat the same. And psychiatrists give you the pills. So this Gita is a text that reveals the knowledge where exactly the problem is located in your mind, so that before, during, and after every action you perform, you check, are you in peace or happiness? Before, during, after. So the first pointer, who is not a seeker, cannot succeed in yoga if we do not follow the right knowledge. So we remind yourself. What? What you remind yourself? Why remind yourself? Because mind takes you to the habit, instinctive and impulsive reaction. Do I have a choice to be born as a human being? I don't have a choice to be born as a human being. Just it happened, I became a human being. You may say that, no, how do you say that? My parents produced me. I don't have a choice to be human being. Millions of living species, but we are a human being. So now remember the grace, blessing, and after that, remember higher level of self-awareness and the intellect is present in us. And that can help us to discover that permanent happiness, love, and wisdom. I'm laying a foundation of the chapter 2, where we go very deep into our intellect for clarity about how to live, how to think, and how to speak. You see, did I tell you that if We have no choice for peace, happiness, love, and wisdom wherever we are living. We always seek peace and happiness. We don't have a choice. So if we are a seeker, we follow the path. If we are not a seeker, do you still have a choice? You don't have a choice. Think of it. What I'm saying, I am a seeker of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Did I understand? Yes. Do I follow the path of Eastern wisdom? Yes. I will discover it. But now see, if I'm not a seeker, still I do not have a choice. Bill Gates is not a seeker, still he is seeking peace and happiness. That's why he said, I lived my loveless life. What happens? Even if I'm not a seeker, I don't have a choice. So when I don't have a choice, it means I'm still seeking peace and happiness, but there comes the understanding whether I'm seeking peace and happiness in a right direction or not. If I'm seeking in a right direction, I will find the peace and happiness. Now go back to the first. I want to change the society to be in peace and happiness. That means my mind, through my sense organ, is associated, is attached, is expecting something from the society. I lost my awareness, and losing that awareness will always cause anxiety, agitation, reaction in my life. I have to prevent that. From today, I know we all have very soft point to get agitated. It may be through our relative, it may be through our society, it may be by our honey, it may be by son. Very soft point. The mind instantly gets agitated, makes a face, have a big face. We enter into duality conflict, become aware. Why? We are a human being. We have an intellect. We live in higher self awareness. We are not animals. This is the first lesson the master is guiding us before we go deeper. Intellect should give me the right knowledge to live in higher self awareness, because low self awareness causes impulsive, instinctive, and habitual reaction. Do you see that in your life? Are you getting that thing? I can live in higher self awareness all the time. That is why I told you we have, it's a common saying. I translate, rub your hands with sanitizer before you enter into the world to prevent yourself from COVID. Rub your mind with the Eastern wisdom before you think, speak, and act in the world. Because thinking, speaking, and acting, I'm entering into the world. So my behavior will attack me. No, with the knowledge. So every time you are communicating in the world outside, you have to live with this knowledge, because you don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. We are searching peace and happiness. We are searching peace and happiness. I am laying a foundation for the second chapter, where the master gives you a clarity and understanding through the knowledge. It gives you where the mind pricks you the most, how it pricks you, how you get agitated, how you can prevent yourself not to get agitated, not to be swayed by the past impression, habits, and conditions. It's a beautiful uh, section. It is a beautiful second chapter out of the 18 chapters. Last point, and then we will start with our practice. So I just told you that the Gita has 18 chapters. So Master gives us an understanding. There are 70 ways, method to change my perception about the world, about myself, about uh, about the existence, so that we have a clarity, so that mind leaves the delusion. And 18th chapter is all the summary. He attains peace into whom the mind has changed its behavior from impulsive, habitual, and instinctive nature. And this is what the second chapter is going to talk about us. The last point is also very important, and that can be understood by a small parable. Do you know the frog, which hops, lives in the land and the sea? When they lay their eggs, and when the eggs are grown into kids, they are known as tadpole. Do you know that? Tadpole? And the tadpole has a tail. So one master beautifully gives the simile. This water is the world in which we live, we react, we fight, we become angry, we become sad. And that we are the tadpole. Until we grow into frog, we cannot jump out of the water into the land. And he compares the land with no knowledge of the real self. And what about the tail? He says this tail is ignorance that causes the delusion, illusion, suffering, reaction. We are born as a physical human being. We have to grow into a mentally human being, live into the higher level of self-awareness by using the intellect, learning the process. So that tail of ignorance that we carry since our birth must disappear. That is the goal of highest meditation. So anytime you are upset, remember you have a tail. That must such a beautiful way to this master who lived in around he lived around 1860 or 65, and one of his disciples, Swami Vivekananda, visited our country in 1893. His name is Swami Vivekananda. He came here in the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago. And in his very first talk, he was welcomed, and he stayed here for about 2 years, guiding almost throughout the United States. same wisdom which I'm talking now. So, with that understanding, let us start our practice today. Hi, sir.